At first glance, this just looks like a simple children's story about a clever fish. But if you look a little closer, you'll find a masterclass in persuasion, negotiation, and strategy, all packed into one tiny fable.
So, it's a fair question, right? Can a story about a talking fish really hold secrets that apply to our own lives? Well, it turns out this isn't just a fable. It's a fascinating case study in strategy. All right, so our story kicks off with a pretty disappointing catch. We meet a fisherman down at the river, hoping for a big haul, but things are not going his way. His motivation is crystal clear: profit. He's not fishing for sport. He's there to make a living. The more fish he catches, the more money he makes. And this desire, right here, is the key to everything that follows. But after a long, long day of waiting, he pulls up his nets and finds this. Just one single tiny fish. His dream of a big payday is looking like a total bust. I mean, you can just feel the disappointment. And then something impossible happens. The fish starts talking. It launches its first tactic, a simple, desperate plea. But you know what? The fisherman just ignores it. Pleading from a position of weakness, clearly not working. So the fish, it has to change its strategy. Now this is the moment. This is where our tiny protagonist shifts from being a victim to a master negotiator. Welcome to what we're calling the fish's gambit. So the fish makes this crucial pivot. It realizes begging for mercy won't save it. So instead, it appeals to the one thing it knows the fisherman really wants: profit. It's about to make him a business proposition. The core of the strategy is just brilliant. The fish isn't just asking for freedom, it's offering a business deal. It reframes its release not as a loss for the fisherman, but as a small investment for a massive future return. And the pitch itself, it's flawless. It's a simple, four-step plan that sounds completely logical. It lays out the fisherman's action, the fish's role, the exact location, and the ultimate prize. It's structured, clear, and incredibly persuasive. Okay, so the fish has laid the perfect trap. Now the spotlight shifts to the fisherman. Is he going to take the bait? The decision rests entirely on his own greed. In this moment, the fisherman stops being a fisherman and becomes a gambler. He's not thinking about the tiny fish in his net anymore. He's dreaming about the possibility of tomorrow. This is a critical shift in his mindset. And here we see his internal calculation. He's literally talking himself into it, verbalizing the trade-off. The promise of a lot of fish completely overshadows the reality of the tiny one he actually has. His greed is totally blinding him to the risk. And this is the classic dilemma, isn't it? On one side, you have a small, guaranteed gain. On the other, a massive but completely unverified potential gain. The fish successfully made the possibility so attractive that the certainty starts to look almost worthless by comparison. And so, the deal is done. Convinced by this promise of future riches, he lets his only catch of the day go. From a strategic standpoint, the fish has already won. So the next day comes. The fisherman returns, filled with anticipation. But the reality of his decision is about to become painfully, painfully clear. You can just picture him, can't you? Waking up early, heading to that same spot, absolutely certain that his net is going to be overflowing. He's sure his gamble has paid off. But the promise was just a story, a perfectly crafted illusion designed for one purpose: survival. The river is empty. The big catch never materializes, and the fisherman is left with nothing. So, what's the ultimate takeaway from this tale of strategy and deception? Let's break down the final lesson here. The story's moral, in its own charming words, is that you have to be really, really clever to save yourself. It's a beautiful way of saying that in a moment of crisis, intelligence is your greatest weapon. And this is the crucial point. The fisherman held all the physical power, the net, the strength, the control. But power is pretty useless if it can be outmaneuvered by a superior strategy. The fish won because it understood its opponent's mind. And that leaves us with a question to think about. This story is such a powerful reminder that the biggest opponent isn't always the strongest. In our own lives, when we're faced with overwhelming odds, maybe the most powerful tool we have isn't strength, but a clever plan, something to consider.